And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome inside the Houston Fieldhouse on the campus of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. It's time once again for RPI Engineers hockey right here on ESPN+. This afternoon, it's the second half of a two-game weekend set for the RPI Engineers women's hockey program. Yesterday evening, it was a game against the Dartmouth Big Green. This afternoon, they welcome the Crimson of Harvard University into the Houston Fieldhouse to do battle to wrap up the weekend in the ECAC. Alongside the coach, Dan Fridge, and Dan Ball with you here on ESPN+. Delighted to be with you this afternoon here in the Capital Region. And Coach, the Engineers are coming off of a game against the Dartmouth Big Green yesterday evening, a 2-0 loss. The shots were a bit lopsided. The score was a lot closer, but in order to flip things around and earn a split this weekend, what do you see this RPI team needing to do today?
Well, simply put, I think they just have to grab their lunch bucket, grab their hard hats, and go to work. That's basically it. They've got to go out there and work hard for 60 minutes. Hopefully somebody will step up, but to a person, they have to start, putting a little more effort into it. I'm not saying that they weren't working hard. I'm just saying that they have to work harder in order to overcome this.
There are levels to it, and the next level is needed here for this Engineers team in order to be successful this afternoon. They'll do it being led by sixth-year head coach Brian Vines in his sixth season, a record of 34, 102, and 12. They're led in net by Amanda Rampado, the senior out of Stony Creek, Ontario. Magdalena Urbanova, Tegan Dalby on defense. The top line, Mara Wagner, Ellie Kaiser, Nina Kristoff beginning for the Engineers. The puck goes up into the bench. It's grabbed and flipped back onto the ice by the 28th-year head coach of the Harvard Crimson, Katie Stone. 517 wins during her time behind the bench. The Crimson begin with Kira Willoughby and Jade Arnone on defense. Top line of Kristen Della Rovere and Bloomer and Paige Lester up front, and their sophomore goaltender Alex Polici out of Prior Lake, Minnesota. Sent around the back of the Engineers net. Battle ensues on the far side. Below the goal here is Lester in that corner. Lester draped on there by Dalby, played off the boards by Wagner, but it ends up getting caught in the skates of the mess that was still going on. Ends up rebounding its way to Nina Kristoff at the center line. She'll send it the rest of the way. Go in on the forecheck, and the rest of her line will complete a change. Nina Kristoff back in the lineup today after not playing in yesterday evening's game. She is in. Meg Hildner is out. The other change, Rihanna Janke out of the lineup. MJ Alexander in. So Brian Vines going with 7 defenders in the lineup today. Sophia Jones will skate as the unofficial 7th defender. Couple of changes. Kristoff back on that top line. Asia Taylor-Walters goes down to the 4th line. Julia Blitz and Sabrina Bodwin also changing places. So some changes, not as drastic as we've seen in past weeks, as it's brought in by Gabby Davidson-Adams. Her shot gets blocked to the corner. To a side, they will scrap for the puck right in front of the ECAC hockey logo. On the near side, Shannon Holland sends to the corner, but Taylor Larson, the first one to find the loose puck. Rimmed around the end boards. Back to the point, kept in by Jenna McDonald. Now far corner once again. Davidson-Adams tries to backhand it low, but it didn't connect. Now back on the near side, here is Maddie Peterson. She's able to collect on the pass from Larson, and it's rebounded off the boards and in deep by Nia Phillip. No score, a minute and a half in. Harvard and RPI here at the Houston Fieldhouse. We thank you for joining us in what has been a busy weekend of ECAC hockey on both the men's and women's sides. We'll give you an update later on in this one on what else is going on in the ECAC hockey world. Flipped in and past Bodwin. Puck loose in front of the Harvard bench. Skated back through center there by Courtney Highland into the corner. Alexander will backhand it along for Taylor Zahirny. Zahirny met by Sophie Ensley. Puck is still loose low of the goal. Sabrina Bodwin will head back and grab it. A backhand feed for Papineau. Off of the boards looking for Sarah Bain, too far ahead of her. A race for the puck will be won by the Crimson. And on defense, Eleanor Winge is the first one to get there. The sophomore out of North Oaks, Minnesota. That's icing against RPI. The Crimson coming off of a 2-2 tie yesterday evening in Schenectady against the Union Dutch women. They led in shots 30-23, led on the scoreboard 2-0 just over the halfway point of the second period, but 2 unanswered goals from Celeste Bodwin of Union ended up tying the game up at 2, and that's where it ended after the overtime period. Harvard comes in a record of 1-3-1, the exact same in the ECAC. They have 5 1/2 points, currently sitting 7th in the division. That's exactly where they were picked to finish in the ECAC preseason coaches poll. So through 2 weeks, the coaches nailed it to this point. The Engineers, meanwhile, coming in with a record of 2-9. They're 0-3 in the conference to this point, looking to pick up their first win or at least first points. And like Coach Dan Fridgen said right off the top of the broadcast, the effort is there now. That next level of effort is really what's needed as a backhand feed goes all the way down. This one will be icing once again as Mia Biotti is back to touch up on the icing call.
RPI just needs to break out a little cleaner. Forwards have to be available on the wall for them. And if they're getting covered by the D, then they have to pull out of the zone, open up that space, open up the lane.
A couple of very similar icings, and you're exactly right there with the pass going right off of the bench, or boards in front of the bench, rather, just a little too far ahead of whatever winger was sprinting to find it. So possibly a change in the early going. Below the goal, sent it to the far side corner. That was Kaylee Crawford who made that pass. She's on the puck once more, looks to center. A shot gets blocked. McDonald chose to back off. Kristoff has it at the line. She'll send it the rest of the way. Engineers completing their change, getting the top line back out on the ice. Here's Mara Wagner behind the net. Has it stripped away, and it's carried ahead with speed by Hollins. Shannon Hollins over the offensive blue line on the near side. Rubbed off the puck there by Larson. Near side here is Biotti in from the point. She now has it on the left point. Uses her partner McDonald, but the pass too far ahead. Kristoff will win the body position race, but the puck kept in on that right point. Now into the corner. Larson will backhand it along. Found by Price. Tipped along by Kaiser. Kaiser a backhand feed. Nobody on the receiving end of that one. On the near side here is Hannah Chorsky. That one's knocked away on the defensive play by Larson. Kristoff once more, a backhander, goes up and over the bench and out of play. So the faceoff will come back into the defensive end for the Engineers of RPI, who are led in net once again by Amanda Rampado, one of the two captains on this team. In 11 games this season, a 2-9 record, but a .257 goals against average, up to a .917 save percentage, thanks in part to a 39 save effort yesterday evening here at the Houston Fieldhouse. Only gave up one goal. And she's given one up here as it's deflected in. The shot from the point took a deflection in front of Rampado. And just under 4.5 minutes in, the Crimson of Harvard have struck first on the road.
Well, it looked like just off the face-off, a harmless shot that got tipped. It looked like it was Ann Bloomer that tipped it in front of Rampado. Here's another look at it. Nice low shot. Yeah, the way she's reacting. And actually, she had a goal last night, a shorthanded goal last night for Harvard as they tied Union 2-2.
We'll wait for the official word, but it looks like it will be Ann Bloomer's goal. She and Kristen Della Rivera are the two players offensively on this Crimson team that you'll really want to keep an eye out for in this one. So the Engineers victimize early. Harvard leads 1-0 on the road. Looking to pick up a win after the tie against Union yesterday evening. The Engineers looking to pick up a win after the loss against Dartmouth. They have the puck in their offensive end. Peterson in the corner, reverses low. Here's Buckvik. Puck is left along. Alexander will come in from the point and help the progress of that one. Asia Taylor-Walters spills to the ice trying to find the puck. A pass goes behind Bloomer. Alexander the first one to grab that in her own end. And now it's Tegan Dalby. Ahead from McCutcheon, who tried to deflect it down low, but McDonald was there to stop that one. There were 6 players on the ice for the Engineers for the moment, but I believe they were able to get away with it as the defensive change got caught a little bit wonky. Sophia Jones came on the ice, realized, oh, not my shift yet, and headed right on back. Here is Asia Taylor-Walters over the line, and she'll flip it the rest of the way in. Taken out of harm's way there by Willoughby. Now they'll battle for the puck right in front of the Harvard bench. Ends up springing its way back out to center. Urbanova to Jones to Taylor-Walters and in the rest of the way. She was able to get a deflection on that puck, so the icing is waved off. On the near side, Chorsky, a backhand, is sent right back where it came from there by Jones, who will go for a change. Kristoff keeps it in at the line. Near side, Nina Kristoff, a shot deflected and goes up above the net. Keeping it in there is Price into the far corner. Kaiser keeps the momentum going, tried to fire it back to the point for Larson, but her pass was blocked. Stepping in once again is Price, so the puck remaining below the goal here for RPI as they continue their forecheck, but they haven't been able to take it from behind the net to in front quite yet. Still in the early going. Larson advances ahead for Kristoff. She brings it in. Here's Kristoff, top of the circle, a shot in and out of the glove of Polici. She made the stop, and Harvard's able to control the rebound and skate it back the other way. Looking to center a feed there was Lester, too far ahead for Della Rovere. Kristoff a backhander. As far as Kaiser, she'll rip it along the end boards and go for a change. 7 minutes gone by first period, 1-0. The visiting Crimson of Harvard leading the RPI Engineers. Phillips sends off the near side wall. Buckvik in on the forecheck, but McDonald able to get away from her. Bloomer couldn't corral the pass that was careening around the end boards up to her, so RPI maintains possession in their end, only for the time being, and now here comes Bloomer the other way. For Paige Lester on the near side, going against MJ Alexander. Lester a shot, blocked, never got to the net. That one hit Maddie Peterson, looked like it hit her right in the left arm. She is hobbled a bit by that one, going for a change. Papineau came on a little quick, but she'll go in on the forecheck nonetheless. Near side they will battle. Della Rovere in that near corner. Marked one-on-one there by Papineau. Stolen away by Bodwin. She'll cut right to the net. Does Sabrina Bodwin, and she scores! Sabrina Bodwin had the lane to the net. She took it, and the shot squeaks through the legs of Polici. The Engineers have tied the game at 1.
And that worked out perfect for her because she's a right-hand shot coming out of that left corner. And it looks like it just went 5-hole on the goaltender, Polici. Here it is right here as she just pokes it through the legs of Polici for a goal as she attacks the net, and Harvard got caught just kind of puck watching there, but a great move by Beaudoin.
Grabbed that puck, first career goal for Sabrina Beaudoin, the freshman out of Quebec and John Abbott College. Had an assist in her first 8 games, and a fantastic move there to see the open ice in front of her and head right to the net as Rampado will cover up on that clearing attempt. Coach, that's the aggressiveness you're looking for from this offense. You see a lane to the net, don't just throw it at the net, go right there and try to do it yourself. That's what Sabrina Beaudoin did.
Yes, I mean, credit to her. She took the space that was given to her. She didn't try to shoot from far out. She skated, and it paid off going to the net.
Ellie Kaiser will flip it in deep. She's taken down. It's sent right back in her direction, ends up kicking off of her skate, but Harvard will start their breakout long ahead for Hollins, who ends up knocking down Larson in the process, but Larson did the job in knocking the puck away. You'll deal with one to do the other. That's exactly what Taylor Larson did on defense. Kristoff blocks the pass. To the defensive blue line, Kira Willoughby regroups it, deflected into the offensive zone only momentarily, though, as Sarah Buckvik off the bench will backhand it in deep and go in on the forecheck along with Nia Phillip. Phillip works to knife this one free. Eventually it's Buckvik who finds it, sends back to the point, but the pass was too far ahead of Urbanova, who was backing up to play along the boards as the pass was going back to her forehand. Here's Buckvik through center, a 3-on-2, but a couple of trailers coming for Harvard. Shot is kicked away by Polici. Buckvik was going to just get something on net. She did successfully. Swept back below the goal. You could see the hit that was coming there from Hannah Chorsky. She used the body position to get that spot on the near side boards right where the hash marks are, but didn't end up keeping the zone. Eventually the Engineers will deflect it back in deep and going on the forecheck once again. About halfway through the opening period here in Troy. A score even at 1. Now it's Papineau, near side. Maddie Papineau looking for the trailer, backhanded by Beaudoin. Save, rebound, popped just above the net. Sarah Bain was there on the backhand to get that rebound free. Polici made the first stop and might have made the second one as well.
Looked like she had kind of a shovel-type shot there instead of catching that puck flat.
Bain on the far side trying to knock it over the line. Here comes Beaudoin now through center. Feels the pressure coming from Della Rovere, so will sweep it in deep and go for a line change.
Unfortunately, I think it was on her backhand as well.
Here is Kate Kasika now into the near corner, tries to sweep it back below the goal. She does on the second attempt. Price off the end glass, rebounds up and into the neutral zone. But Harvard will send it right back into the defensive end and behind the net, so Taylor Larson will give it another shot. Kept in at the line, but the pass was just a little too far ahead of Crawford. She'll backhand a feed for Hollins. Now back to the point, Willoughby. Walks the line, cross point. No lane for Arnone to get a shot on net, so she'll swing it back in deep. Harvard not taking any chances here in terms of shooting with bodies in front of them. They'll just send the puck back in the defensive end and behind the net, and the best defense is a good offense, according to them so far. Hollins will backhand it in deep, and there you go. They'll go for a change. Nia Phillip on the far side was looking to deflect it to an oncoming Engineer, but both Buckvik and Peterson were behind the play. Pass goes ahead of Peterson, stolen at the center line, right over the RPI logo. Chorsky to her backhand. Tried to one-hand a feed along. That one got blocked. Maddie Peterson once more over center will send it in near the goal and just past Polici. To a side, they shall scrap. Sent back to the point, kept in by Urbanova. Sends it on goal, a deflection, and a glove save by Alex Polici, and she will hang on. With 8:04 to go here in the opening period, goals on either side see a game that's tied at 1 in the opening 20. You're watching RPI Engineers Hockey on ESPN+.
Hi, I'm Andy James at Rensselaer Honda, and this is my buddy Bo. Looking to sell your car or truck? We want to buy it. Are you looking for a great used car? We have a huge selection. That's why Rensselaer Honda has been your Honda dealer for 44 years.
For the love of the game, the team, or for two, Recovery Sports Grill. At Recovery Sports Grill, you'll always have courtside seats to exciting live sports coverage. And for outstanding loyalty perks, join our Hall of Fame, Recovery Sports Grill, serving up smiles every season.
8:04 to go opening period here in Troy. The score is even at 1 goal apiece between the Engineers of RPI and the visiting Harvard University Crimson. Welcome back here on ESPN+. He's Dan Fridgen. I'm Dan Ball, and we're happy to be with you here on this Saturday afternoon. Continuing to bring you RPI Engineers hockey all season long. Make sure you join us at some point here at the historic Houston Fieldhouse, rpiathletics.com, for tickets and more information. Face off to the left of Alex Polici. Won by the Crimson, controlled by Willoughby, off the end glass to the point, but didn't get a Harvard bounce, so RPI keeps it for the moment. Knocked to the center line, led ahead by Ann Bloomer, who we're still waiting for official credit, but we believe will get credit indeed on that tip. She tipped a shot from the point for the opening goal as the play went off sides. The Engineers were able to even it on the first career goal from Sabrina Bodwin. To go along with her second point, she had an assist in the weekend against RIT. That is the scoring we've seen to this point, as Urbanova had the puck get away from her and went to the ground trying to keep it away from anybody wearing a red sweater. Controlled behind the net, a centering feed, nobody home. Keeping it in, though, is Paige Lester. She has it poked away there by Dalby. Laying out was Kristoff to try to clear the zone. She was unable to do so. Long pass ahead from Wagner, deflected along by Kaiser. Good bit of speed on that one to negate any icing opportunities. On the deflection from Ellie Kaiser, but it'll be taken back along. Deflected the rest of the way there by Gabby Davidson-Adams. Harvard will regroup once more. McDonald in her own end. Davidson-Adams sends low. Price and Larson will give chase. off the boards, unable to be corralled there by Kristoff, so Harvard will give it another shot. This time it's Shannon Hollins. Far side, she cuts to the middle, does Hollins. That shot blocked. She finds it once more. Sharp angle shot, missed the net, and it'll bounce its way out into the neutral zone. So a couple of chances there for Shannon Hollins. Sharp angle shot not connecting, and Harvard will send it back in deep and begin on their forecheck, as they've done so frequently here in this opening period. Peterson on the near side. Now it's Buckvik through center. She goes to her backhand, opening up some space. Sarah Buckvik. Marked by 3 Crimson, but she still maintains possession. Sent to the point. The pass was unavailable. It's turned over. Courtney Highland will skate it to center and flip it into the defensive zone, into the near corner. It rolls all the way. Taken along by Highland once more. Kasika at the point, steps in, top of the circles. Pass goes below the goal. Up top for Beati, she'll flip it back in deep. MJ Alexander, a backhander, that finds Nia Phillip, who will flip it out to center. Remaining in pursuit there was Peterson. She's able to force an icing with 5:30 to go here in period number 1, so the Engineers will get a face-off back in their offensive end.
Just want to give a shout out to the Duquette family. Bob passed away on October 31st, and so condolences to Nancy and the Duquette family. Bob was the athletic director here for 30 years, from 1967, I believe it to 1997. So shout out to the Duquette family.
Our condolences and thoughts indeed. A prominent member of the Engineers family, the entire family prominent members. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers if you're so inclined this weekend. We do appreciate that here at the Houston Fieldhouse and beyond. Julia Blitz on goal, missed the net wide. Was going for that far post over the glove of Polici, wasn't able to connect. Led ahead there by Bloomer, knocked away from her by Dalby. Into the far corner goes Kristen Della Rovere. She'll hit the brakes. Reversing for Leicester, top line on the ice for Katie Stone's group, but it's stolen away by Sophia Jones. She'll lead it ahead, but a pass goes too far ahead for Papineau. It ends up bouncing off of the stick of Willoughby into the catching glove and waiting stick of Alex Polici, who will hang on and take a face-off. Polici this season, a sophomore again out of Prior Lake, Minnesota, in 5 games, a record of 1-3-1. She's played every minute for this team. A 2.15 goals against average, .942 save percentage. In a position for the Crimson that has been, that was a question mark rather coming into this season. They lost a lot off of their roster last year. 8 seniors, position players, as this one will roll its way down and be icing against the Crimson. A moment to finish that thought. 8 senior skaters and a senior netminder, as well as a junior goalie, Lindsay Reed, who has national team pedigree, and a first-year player off the roster. That's 138 total points off of last year's team, and all but 180 minutes, so 3 games worth of experience in the net off of the roster for Katie Stone's group off of last year. So Polici came in, was given the starting job over Daisy Boynton, who is the team's backup, and has done extremely well based on the numbers that we just read. After giving up 5 goals against Quinnipiac to open up the season, as the puck is knocked loose, but a quick whistle to benefit the aforementioned Polici, as the puck was still loose and ended up back on the point when all was said and done. Bit of a scramble there, but Coach finishing up that thought, when you lose what was 1,742 minutes played out of your crease from a season ago, that leaves a lot up for debate and a lot that you have to figure out as a coach, but she's done a fantastic job as Polici so far.
Yeah, she has. Based on that save percentage, 94%. I mean, you can't ask for much better than that. She's given her team a chance to win in most games.
Sent from the pointer, Beneva, shot gets blocked, loose in front, puck is still loose, but it's skated out of harm's way there by Beati. Out to the center line for Hollins, ahead for Gabby Davidson-Adams, into the corner, hits the brakes, looking for a trailer. She finds her, but a good defensive play by Peterson, swept on goal, missed the net. Rapado's knocked down. There's going to be a penalty on the play. It looks like it's going to go against Shannon Hollins at least, who was the one who sprayed Rampado to the ground. Let's take a look and try to make sense of this one, Coach.
Yeah, I think she's going to get goaltender interference, and then it looks like the cross-check is going to be called as well on, was that number 23, Dalby. So after the goaltender interference, Dalby had given a little bit of a cross check to the culprit, and they're both off.
I think we should popularize using the culprit a little bit more, personally. I think that's great. Then, you know, culprit, guilty party, whatever. The accused.
Exactly, yes.
We're working on all our vocabulary. We got a long time to do that. So we'll skate 4-on-4 now for 2 minutes. Coincidental minors. Shannon Hollins will sit for 2 for goaltender interference, and then Tegan Dalby, the Engineers defender, who will go for a cross check. So some open ice on both sides, and the Engineers will look to capitalize, as will the Crimson. Sent below the goal there by Hannah Price. Hitting the brakes on it is Arnaud. Della Rovere one-hands it along. She's met there by Larson, but Della Rovere maintains possession. Low of the goal here is Bloomer. The top 2 point scorers on this Harvard team on the ice right now, as Bloomer's shot gets deflected by Price up and out of play, so the faceoff will remain in the defensive end. The 2 players we were just mentioning, Ann Bloomer, a senior out of Chicago, Illinois, 5 points in her first 5 games, and then the other being Kristen Della Rovere, senior out of Caledon, East Ontario, 4 points in her first 5 games as well. Had 11 shots on net yesterday evening against Union. Also went 26 of 39 at the faceoff dot, so that is a top-line center and top-line winger if you've ever seen one. Kaiser sends it on goal from the blue line. She goes in on the forecheck once more, but it's swept away and skated along here by McDonald. McDonald had the puck knocked away. It sends a couple of her players offside, so the faceoff will come back to the neutral zone with under 3 to go and just over a minute to go on the 4-on-4.
Linesman got dragged across the line there with a couple of bodies, but still able to make the offside call.
That is a dynamic presence. Sometimes you got to do 2 at once if you're an official. They'll do it again, though. Davidson Adams will lean in against the captain, Mara Wagner, just outside of the Engineers' defensive zone. Are we set, they ask? We're set, they answer. Won by Wagner, controlled by Urbanova. Zahirny advances ahead for Wagner, but she was unable to corral the pass. Now it's Beati in her own end. Look to leave it, but it's stolen by Wagner, so she'll go in on the forecheck. Wagner to her backhand, to the point. Urbanova whips it on goal, deflected, save, rebound, loose. Wagner tried to get a backhand on it. That was knocked away on the good defensive stick there by Beati. Lester trying to knock it free. It'll be skated along here by Beati, backhands it off of the bench and all the way down. The rolling puck will be waved off, so no icing. Engineers don't get the break. Here is Zahirny. Her pass ends up on the stick of Buckvik when all is said and done. She had to do a quick loop back to make sure she grabbed it. She did, however, and now here's Hannah Price. Pass ahead for Nia Phillip, who had the puck for the moment, but had it spring off of her stick. Wouldn't sit tight. Both players are out of the box, so we'll skate 5-on-5 for the time being with 1:45 to go first period. Here is Taylor Larson off of the near side boards, ahead for Peterson, who will lead the rush. Maddie Peterson through center. Harvard was in the midst of a change, so she was met by 4 red sweaters who were just freshly on the ice.
She should have stayed wide with that one. She skated right into all the Harvard players coming off the bench.
It looked like one of those things where, oh, okay, there's a couple. Oh, there's another. Oh, there's another. And by the time all is said and done, there's nothing but Harvard Crimson players in front of you. Anyway, speaking of Harvard Crimson, one of their defenders, Kyra Willoughby, was the one who sent it in deep. Near sideboard swept along there by Peterson. We're under a minute to go here in the opening period in a game that's tied at 1. Peterson near side goes one-on-one into the boards against Sophie Ensley. Here is Ensley out of the near corner, back to the point. McDonald will flip it in deep. Chorsky marked there by Bodwin. Near side here is Bloomer as Harvard is completing a line change. Down to 30 seconds to go, taken away by Bloomer. Finds some space at the top of the circles. Does Ann Bloomer. She goes all the way laterally before using her point. Kasika on goal. That one gets blocked. Advanced ahead for Peterson, who's been out there a while. Sweeps it along for Asia Taylor-Walters, who will backhand it only as far as the stick of McDonald. Harvard will try to advance it ahead with 10 seconds to go. Here is Lester. Paige Lester, marked by Wagner. Loose puck stolen away by Kaiser, backhanded along. Ellie Kaiser with 3 seconds and 2 will whip a shot on goal, misses the net wide. And we will reach the end of period number 1. Back and forth action on both sides. The scoring opened on a deflection from Ann Bloomer, but the game tied up on a nice power move to the net by Sabrina Bodwin. That leaves us with our score after 20 minutes of play. 1-1, Engineers and Crimson. Coach, your thoughts on the first 20 we just witnessed here?
Well, I think both teams are still trying to develop and execute their forecheck. You've seen glimpses of it from RPI, you've seen glimpses of it from Harvard, but I think they're still working on that and look to get going in the second period.
Well, we'll get ready to go for period number 2. The shots on goal after 20 minutes of play. The Engineers leading handily in that category, 8-2 after the first 20. And again, we mentioned the 2 goals. Here is goal number 1, the deflection from Ann Bloomer. That's a really nice play in the slot.
That is. I mean, it was such a simple play. You win the face-off, take the shot, and it goes in. And here's Bodwin walking out of the corner uncontested and just takes that puck right to the net.
Speed, skill, physicality. Home to college hockey's elite teams, coaches, and student athletes. ECAC Hockey, 12 programs competing at the highest level. A league where champions are born and world-class professionals are trained. Where history is abundant and a commitment to the cutting edge is unrivaled. The best facilities, the fiercest competition. ECAC Hockey. There's no experience like it.
For the love of the game, the team, or for two, Recovery Sports Grill. At Recovery Sports Grill, you'll always have courtside seats to exciting live sports coverage. And for outstanding loyalty perks, join our Hall of Fame, Recovery Sports Grill, serving up smiles every season.
Hi, I'm Andy James at Rensselaer Honda, and this is my buddy Bo. Looking to sell your car or truck? We want to buy it. Are you looking for a great used car? We have a huge selection. That's why Rensselaer Honda has been your Honda dealer for 44 years.
We are boundary-pushing change agents. We do what it takes to make things happen together. It's our collaborative spirit that sparks creativity and pushes us to think beyond ourselves. We're scrappy and unabashedly enthusiastic about our passions and projects. We are hardwired for the havoc of change. We know it isn't easy, that theories can fail and world-changing can feel futile. But that's the calm before the brilliant storm. The breath you take before you break through. Small change comes from asking why. Changing the world comes from asking, why not? That's the question we ask everyone, from freshmen to faculty. It's the question that fuels us to find the next you. The question we ask you, why not change the world?
or for two, Recovery Sportswear. At Recovery Sportswear, you'll always have courtside seats to exciting live sports coverage and outstanding loyalty perks. Join our whole thing at Recovery Sportswear, serving the smiles every season.
RPI Hockey would like to thank Patterson, Simpson, Ginsburg, and Griffin Law Firm, Rensselaer County Services, Crown Plaza Bethesda Hotel, the Recovery Sports Grill, East Stewart, John Tacker Murphy Law Firm, Stewart's Chops, ESN Sports, Gatherers Gorilla, Rensselaer Honda, Repeat Business Systems, Ryan's Way, Stanley Steamer, Correct Energy, Turner Construction, and Bio Steel, all proud sponsors of RPI Hockey.
Second period about to get underway from the Houston Fieldhouse here on the campus of RPI. Welcome back to RPI Engineers Hockey right here on ESPN Plus. An exciting first 20 minutes of play here in front of the home crowd in Troy. The Harvard Crimson broke the scoring at the 4:22 mark of the first period, but the Engineers responded about 3.5 minutes later thanks to a goal from freshman Sabrina Bodwin, and we have a score that's tied at 1. Alongside the coach Dan Fridge and Dan Ball with you here on ESPN Plus. And Coach, well, the Engineers, they got on the board, something they weren't able to do yesterday, so that's a step in the right direction already. How do we keep the momentum going, and what do we expect from period number 2?
Well, I think they just got to continue to work hard, get good, nice, clean breakouts out of their zone. It looked like Harvard was dumping the puck a lot, trying to establish that forecheck. And, I mean, they just got to keep taking shots on goal, crashing the net, getting some greasy goals here. Nice to see them to respond the way they did to Harvard jumping out in front.
Very much agree on all of those points. We're underway here in period number 2. Again, the first goal of the game, the 4th goal of the season for Ann Bloomer on a deflection from a shot coming from the right point. That came at 4:22. Sabrina Bodwin scored her first career goal at 7:58, unassisted. cutting out in front of the net that you see on your screen right now, led ahead here by Nina Kristoff, 2-on-2. Near side, it's Kristoff. Snapped on goal, glove save, Polici, and she will hang on. Shots on goal in the first 20 minutes of play were 8-2 in favor of the Engineers. Alex Polici, the sophomore netminder out of Minnesota, made 7 saves on 8 shots. Amanda Rampado, 1 of 2 on her afternoon after 20 minutes of play. Face-off controlled by Buckvik in the Engineers. Here is Peterson, who will backhand it low. Phillips sweeps it behind the goal. McDonald the first one on that one. In the far side, but it's knocked right back where it came from. So now they'll try on the other side with Mia Biotti stepping in there as Phillip to stop the play. Peterson backhands it in deep. Side to side they go, looking for possession on either side. Now it's Phillip, back to the point, Price. Knocks it along for Larson, on goal, looking for a deflection and got one in front. Buckvik got a stick on that one, but it missed the near side post. Stepping in is Larson from the point to keep it in deep, but it's stolen away. It was blocked down there by Biotti. Long pass ahead, too far for Hollins, who is going to try to win the race, but she's unsuccessful in doing so. Hannah Price goes back and signals the icing. So the Engineers will have the face-off, moving back into their offensive end just under a minute and a half in to period 2.
Some good early pressure here by RPI, getting the forecheck going. A couple of shots just missed on a deflection.
Bodwin leans in for the draw against Hollins. It's won by the freshman Bodwin. Blitz will backhand it in deep. Here is Maddie Papineau in the corner, knocked to the ice. Still sliding along the ice with the puck in her midst, but it's taken away by Gabby Davidson-Adams and sprayed all the way in deep. Alexander will reverse for Zahirny. Now it's Blitz who starts the breakout. Bodwin unable to connect on a pass. Puck bounces its way over the blue line, and Blitz was able to pick up possession, but did so offside. So the face-off will come back out into the neutral zone. Just a minute 50 in. Face-offs in the early going after 20 minutes of play. 10-7, Harvard won 10 out of their 17. Both teams doing well on the dot this season. The Engineers came in with a .510 face-off percentage, .593 face-off win percentage for the Crimson through their first 5 games of the season. Kristen Della Rivera led the charge in period 1, winning 7 of 10 draws. Engineers captain Mara Wagner was 6 out of 10. Here is Kaiser, far side, goes to her backhand behind the net, poked away by Willoughby. Popped up in the air along the far side boards. Wagner will whip it in deep. It deflects off of Kristoff. Kaiser finds it low of the goal. Low for Kristoff again, but the puck went by her. She tracks it down in the corner, whips it on goal from a bad angle. That one got blocked. Sophie Ensley stood in the way of that one. Now it's led ahead and brought into the offensive zone. Shot kicked away by Rampado. Hannah Chorsky was the one who whipped it on net from the top of the circle. Now here's Peterson at the center line. She'll send it in deep as the Engineers are in the midst of a change. Phillip fights to take it away. Now it's Peterson with possession on the near side. The Engineers are able to take the puck away, but a turnover leads to the puck being sent right back where it came from. Kasika was the one who stepped in from the point and was the one who also skated it through center.
Peterson's got to get that puck down low. She brought it all the way up high and then kind of threw a blind pass through the middle of the ice. She's got to just throw that back down the boards.
Della Rivera for Bloomer, who tries to circle away. Now it's Della Rivera, swept toward the middle, but it's knocked away on a defensive play by Larson. Both Lester and Bloomer were available in front. Skated along by Sarah Buckvik. Over center and into the zone she comes. Near side on her backhand will send it along the end glass. McDonald had the puck explode on her a bit. Asia Taylor Walters is in possession below the net. Here is Taylor Walters to the backhand. Zahirny at the point, shot deflected, and a nice deflection there by McCutcheon. Just took a little too much speed off of it, and it trickled its way past the far post.
I like the play. Real good job there, getting the puck back to the point. Tip in front, just off the mark.
Taken along by Biotti. Over the line, she sprays it. Good play there by Zahirni to knock it down, but on a second effort, it's sent back in deep. That's where Alexander will find it. Long pass ahead off the boards, finds Asia Taylor-Walters, but she's met by all 5 Crimson who had gone off the bench and right to where she was standing. So Harvard will send it back in deep. Poked away by Rimpato, but a turnover and a backhand. Never got its way to the net, a near miss there for the Crimson as Rimpato tried to help, but ended up almost hurting her own cause.
Yeah, she tried to tip it to her player, but she actually tipped it away to a Harvard player.
Dalby steps up and knocks it ahead for Kaiser. Here's Kristoff, a shot. She put it over the top of the net. A lot of heat on that one. Good play there by Arbenova to keep the puck in at the line. Wagner on goal. That shot blocked. Here is Kaiser in the far corner. Leaves for Kristoff. To her backhand. Looking to maintain possession. She's draped on there by Arnone. Wagner reverses it down low. Kristoff hits the brakes. Her and Arnone have been battling below the net for most of the shift. Reversed for Wagner. Wrapped in front. She takes a body check and got it through the crease. Never got all the way to the net. Kristoff knocked it down, but the puck is played with a high stick. So the faceoff will come back into the neutral zone just over 5 minutes gone by in period 2, and a game that's tied at 1.
Yeah, that was Shannon Hollins that introduced herself there. This is where you stop. You are not taking that puck to the net.
Face-off controlled by the Crimson. They'll regroup in their own ends. Kasika will take it below the net for a pass to the middle. Stolen away there by Price. Good pressure in the early going here in this middle period by RPI. They forced a couple of turnovers as Harvard has been trying to exit their zone. Fighting for possession. Now it's Price once more. Over the center line, Larson will whip it on goal. Gloved down by Polici, but it won't matter anyways, as Larson had gone in behind some of her players, so that will be whistled for an offside. This Harvard program, a 4-time national runner-up, the last one coming in 2015. They've won 7 ECAC tournaments and 8 regular season titles. They won the 2022 regular season ECAC title with 50.5 points, deflected off of Larson's stick down on Rampato. She will cover up and take a face-off. They ended up losing in 3 games in the first round of the ECAC hockey playoffs to Princeton in what was considered a major upset, but because of their regular season win and regular season record, they did make it to the NCAA tournament once again. Didn't go quite as far as that 2015 team. But that is the one thing that has eluded this program is a national title. And now in another cycle of building a new possible powerhouse right now is Katie Stone and the coaching staff of this Crimson team. Skated along by Dalby, and on the far side, kicked away by Polici on the shot. Wagner in pursuit. Now it's Kaiser, long shift. After the icing, whipped on goal there by Kaiser, save. Wagner will try it again. She goes to her backhand and to her forehand, a shot saved. Kristoff's rebound shot gets blocked into the corner. Bloomer knocked to the ice, and Kristoff is going to get a penalty for sending her in that direction. The Crimson will go on the power play, the first power play on either side. A nice move by Della Rivera. She shoots from a bad angle. Save made. Rebound loose in front. Swept behind the cage there by Kaiser. And a stoppage and a penalty coming against Nina Kristoff on the hit along the far side boards against Dan Bloomer. And the Crimson will go to the power play for the first time.
Yeah, she lifted a stick and then just pushed her into the boards there kind of awkwardly, so she'll get a boarding call.
Time of the penalty, 6:40. Nina Kristoff will sit for 2 for boarding. The power play for the Crimson so far this year has not registered a power play goal in 5+ games. 0 for 17 to start the year. They went 0 for 4 on the power play in yesterday's contest. Did manage 9 shots on net, but they'll set it up and look to break the ice on their power play drought. Pass handcuffed McDonald a bit, backhanded along by Price. Buckvick will A-frame and try to get the puck out, but now a battle ensues as the puck didn't get as far as she may have wanted. Taken away by Chorsky, sent to the point. Here's Mia Biotti. Her shot deflected off of the stick of Buckvick. It'll go up and out of play, so we'll have a stoppage 36 seconds into the penalty against Nina Kristoff.
Good job by RPI, keeping everything to the outside. Harbor's looking to try to get something through the seam. And RPI is doing a good job with their sticks, passing lanes, and in that particular instance, a shooting lane.
A change of units on both sides. Played below the goal there by Ensley. Puck is knocked away. Backhanded along by Kaiser. It hits off the stick of Kyra Willoughby, and it'll rebound out to center and all the way down. So a clearing attempt successful for Ellie Kaiser. The penalty kill for the Engineers this season, 25 of 31, clicking at 80.7%. They killed off all 4 power plays of the Dartmouth Big Green in yesterday evening's contest. They surrendered 8 shots against, but 5 of those came in the first power play. So a much more condensed effort, clean effort on the final 3. Sent in front, looking for a deflection. Puck is loose. Rimpato trying to find it. She is on top of it. No, the puck is still loose. A scramble ensues. Played behind the net there by Bloomer. Centering feed, and a save made. No, it was blocked. Puck skitters its way to the line, but not out. Kept in by Willoughby at the point. Willoughby to the far side for Della Rivera. Good chances here for this top unit on the Crimson to break the 1-1 deadlock. Now it's Bloomer leaving for Della Rivera, who walks in and shoots. Blocked away by Rimpato, who lost her stick. The rebound was turned aside as well. 8 seconds to go on the penalty against Kristoff. Near side, Della Rivera once more. Kicks it to her stick. Left for Willoughby, who will walk in and shoot one. Kicked away. The rebound loose for Della Rivera once more. We're back to 5-on-5, but still the vulnerable minute. It's turned over, sent off the far side boards and out to center by Dalby. Rimpato able to find her stick. Good pressure there from Peterson, knocks the puck loose. Here is Maddie Peterson through center. Successful penalty kill for the Engineers, and now they're on offense. Looking to gain some momentum off of that. Below the goal here is Buckvik, reversing for Phillip. Phillip near side, knocked to the ice. Hollins will escape after stealing the puck away. Here is Hollins at the line. Tries to carry her way in. She's tied up by Phillip, allowing Buckvik to steal the puck. Pass didn't connect with Urbanova. Now Peterson tries to stick it away. Urbanova will reverse it back around to the near side corner. Price flips it along the board. She's knocked to the ice. Gabby Davidson-Adams is able to cause a turnover. Low of the goal here is Ensley. Looks back door, but it's swept away by Peterson. Her pass got deflected, did that of Ensley, so the pass wouldn't go. RPI will take it out of their own end. Poked along to center, but Biotti's able to cause a turnover. Brought in on the far side, whipped on goal, gloved down by Rimpato. She'll get the stop. With 10 minutes and 2 seconds to go in the second period, a couple of frantic moments there on defense for the Engineers coach.
Yeah, well, especially when Rimpato loses her stick. I was surprised that, number one, an RPI defenseman didn't pick it up for her. I know that they're concentrating on the play, or you give Rimpato your stick as a defenseman, and that way she's got it. But she made some good saves without it.
Very much so, and a key block there from a shot coming from the top of the circles in that slot area. Led ahead by Bodwin, who has the 1 goal for the Engineers. Looked to center a feed. It was too far ahead of any player, specifically Sarah Bain, who was kind of that third player instead of being high, the third player along the line. Alexander from the point looking for a deflection and missed the far side post. Allowing Bloomer to scoop it up. Her pass to center, deflected ahead by Della Rivera, but RPI will come back the other way. Pass along the boards too far ahead for Bain, so it's regrouped by Arnaud. Pass ahead for Bloomer, who will send it in deep and go in on the forecheck. Alexander flips it along the boards, but it's kept in at the line there by Hollins. A backhander goes off the skate of Bloomer as Harvard was in the middle of a change. RPI gets a break in their direction. Zahirny flips it ahead, but sent it over the wrong shoulder of Bain, so Kasika will take it instead. Pass picked off by Dalby. At the defensive blue line, now it's Dalby flipping it in deep. Kristoff in on the forecheck, trying to knife it away. She does so successfully, but instead it's flipped along by Harvard. Davidson-Adams will pop it along. That was Kasika who brought it in. Now it's Davidson-Adams once more. It's knocked away back out to center. The defensive effort, a strong one here in this middle period, and now the Engineers are going to go to the power play as Ellie Kaiser was taken down. It will be an interference call against Kasika, and we'll tell you more about it when we return. 8:29 to go, middle period here in Troy. 1-1 Engineers and the Crimson of Harvard. You're watching RPI Engineers Hockey on ESPN+.
For the love of the game, the team, or for two, Recovery Sports Grill. At Recovery Sports...
Harvard penalty to number 21, Kate Kasika. She receives 2 minutes for interference. Time of that penalty, 11 minutes, 31 seconds. It's an E. Stewart Jones Murphy power play for the Engineers. Gatherers Grill has answered and baked in a small kitchen batched in Schenectady. It's founded by an RPI alum based on its mom's recipe. Gatherers, granola for people with taste buds.
Back on ESPN Plus, Engineers getting ready for their first power play of the afternoon. Face-off controlled by Del Rivera, kept in for the moment by Kristoff, but she was unable to keep the line. Led ahead by Kristen Del Rivera, who will flip it back below the net. Beneva will face the pressure, but eventually evade it. Power play this season for the Engineers, 1 of 38. They went 0 for 2 in yesterday's contest. Kaiser will hit the brakes on the near side. Now it's Wagner. Kaiser up top will leave for Wagner once more. Now it's Urbanova. Near side, Kristoff. Urbanova, the pass exploded on her a bit, so she'll have to fight off Paige Lester and will draw a penalty. Now here comes Lester. In on a break is Paige Lester, and she scores! A shorthanded goal and an absolute beauty from Paige Lester to the backhand, and the Crimson have grabbed the lead back. It's 2-1.
Yes, that's an unfortunate turnover there, especially in the middle of the ice, and I think Urbanova is going to go for a hold here on the play, and unfortunately, a shorthanded goal. Nice play made by Lester, the forward for Harvard. There's another look at it. Went from the forehand, left shot to the backhand, just over the pad of a sprawled out Lampato. We got a 2-1 hockey game here. And that negates RPI's power play, so we'll play 4-on-4 hockey.
We will do so for the next minute and 17 seconds. Paige Lester's second goal of the season. Scored against Brown last weekend, and a very impressive move, to say the least. Not much that Amanda Rampato can do about that one. She will cover up and hang on. So it is Lester unassisted, short-handed at 12:14, and then the delayed penalty, the rule in college hockey, the delayed penalty will still count. So Urbanova will sit for 2 for a hold. Like Coach mentioned, it does negate the power play, so RPI is 0 for 1. And the Crimson will get roughly a 40-second player advantage after their player, Kasika, comes out of the box. So now the Engineers will have to defend. Gabby Davidson-Adams was able to cause a turnover, but it's bumped away. Papineau on the defensive end. Larson will hit the brakes and begin her ascent out of the defensive end. Now it's Price at the line. We'll send it cross corner. RPI will go for a change.
That's Harvard's second shorthanded goal in as many games. When you're playing the top of the umbrella like that, You're the last line of defense. You got to make sure that that puck gets deep. You can't have any turnovers there.
Here is Kaiser to her backhand, leaves it back, and a shot coming from Wagner. Missed the net. A good play there by Ellie Kaiser to open up some space for her captain. Now it's Wagner once more, drops the shoulder, backhanded to the net. And Dalby was there on the backhand. She was unable to find that loose puck after the feed from Kaiser. 6 seconds and 5 remaining on the penalty against Casico, so Harvard's going to go on the power play, and the Engineers have to keep an eye on that. Zahirny at the line will flip it in deep. Casica heads to the bench, so we'll have 36 seconds of power play time, the second of the afternoon for Harvard, who is 0 for 1. Their top unit gets on the ice in short order. Here is Mia Biotti. Near side tried to leave for Bloomer. Bloomer will sweep it along for Della Rovere behind the cage. Knocked off the puck for the moment there by Larson, but she regains possession. Her pass doesn't connect with anybody wearing a crimson jersey, and it's swept all the way down by Buckvik. 5 seconds to go on the penalty against Urbanova. That will effectively kill off the penalty kill for the Engineers, who are now 2 for 2 on the player disadvantage so far this afternoon. And with 5:40 to go, Harvard, after all is said and done, has a 2-1 lead here on the road in Troy. Bloomer flips it cross corner. Here is Ensley, who's ridden into the wall by Larson and then goes down on top of the RPI defender. Run along by Hollins. Looks to center a pass, didn't connect, but the last player coming, a backhand, and they score! Gabby Davidson-Adams was fresh off the bench. The third forward high beats Amanda Rimpato on the backhand, and the lead is extended to 2 for the visiting Crimson of Harvard.
Yeah, you can't throw that puck up through the middle of the ice like that. I don't know if that was a Harvard player or a RPI player that threw that puck. She's coming from the bench, and just a backhander just above the pad and below the blocker of Rimpato.
2 goals in 2 minutes and 26 seconds for the Crimson to extend their lead. Well, to take the lead and then to extend the lead. It's now 3-1 on the goal from Gabby Davidson-Adams. Second goal on the weekend for her, make that 3 on the season. Also scored against Yale. So that's 3 goals in 4 games for Gabby Davidson-Adams, the sophomore out of Cornwall, Ontario, in the Ontario Hockey Academy. Now it's up to RPI to try to do something about it. Led ahead by Kaiser. She goes to the backhand. Back to the forehand. Save, rebound, score! Ellie Kaiser finds her own rebound, and the Engineers are back within 1 just like that.
Well, they certainly needed a response after those 2 quick goals by Harvard. And Kaiser goes to the backhand forehand and then gets her own rebound as she just powered that puck into the net. And what a great play. It's a one-on-one, and she just dangles around, gets the rebound, and in the net it goes.
Second goal of the season for Ellie Kaiser, and what a beauty of an individual effort to get the first shot, find the rebound, and do the dirty work yourself. So Kaiser scores 36 seconds after Davidson-Adams' goal. It's now 3-2, and Della Rovere and Bloomer try to do something about it right off the bat. Here's Kristen Della Rovere, whips it on goal, saved by Rimpato. She will hang on with 4:24 to go. And coach, the opening goal from Ann Bloomer, the response from Sabrina Bodwin, 2 goals in rapid succession from the Crimson, and then another response from RPI. That kind of response is what this group has been looking for a while.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to come back, and they did it in the first period after that goal was scored, and now they've done it again, and hopefully they can continue.
RPI will escape from their own end. The pass went through the wickets of Nia Phillip, but she wins the race and negates the icing. Here is Nia Phillip. Reversing down low, pass didn't connect with Peterson. McDonald will whip it along all the way back to the point. Larson A-frames against Lester, but the puck ends up spraying its way back to the neutral zone. Kristen Della Rovere fights through the oncoming check. Julia Blitz is able to knock the puck free, and Maddie Peterson takes a high stick. The Engineers are going to go to the power play. Maddie Peterson was able to pick up the puck after it was stripped away by Blitz. She draws a high sticking call in with 3:44 to go in period number 2. The Engineers will go back to the player advantage.
Well, here's another look at it here. Peterson picks it up, and there's a high stick right there. And she's going to go for 2 minutes. Certainly an opportunity here for RPI to get the equalizer before they go into the locker room on the power play.
Second power play of the afternoon. That's a tough one. The high stick with the fishbowl bubble kind of mask too. That might leave a skid mark, so to speak, but that is neither here nor there. Also important to note that Ann Bloomer is one of this team's key penalty killers. So they will be without her for 2. Flipped on goal by Urbanova and a save by Polici. No rebound available as Ellie Kaiser was parked out in front.
Goal scored by Ken Kaiser, her second of the season, for 11 Alexander and 29 Wagner at 15-16.
We take a look at the replay. We're getting the scoring as well. Mara Wagner and MJ Alexander, the assists on Kaiser's second goal of the season. The goal from Sabrina Bodwin earlier on was unassisted. Now here is Nina Kristoff on the near side. Watch the pressure coming at the top of the umbrella. That's how the Crimson were able to get a shorthanded goal just a few moments ago. Here's Urbanova, one-timer, Kristoff, and a glove save by Polici, and she will hang on. 31 seconds gone by on the penalty against Ann Bloomer, who sits for 2 for a high stick. Kristoff was not in the lineup yesterday, so that's the one change on this, actually 2 changes on that power play unit, as Sabrina Bodwin was taking shifts with that top unit as well. She is this time as well, as Urbanova's able to keep the line. Across for Kristoff. Goes short side. Now it's Wagner on goal and a save by Polici, who will hang on once more. Puck movement here, Coach Dan Frigen, as the Engineers are looking to open up the offensive zone a bit. So instead of Kristoff shooting the puck, this time it's Mara Wagner who gets the shot on net.
Yeah, I kind of like this. I like the change because you've got the opportunity. You got 2 right-hand shots out there. You've got Kaiser with the right-handed shot off the flank for a one-timer, and you've got Kristoff, who could really shoot the puck.
To the point, Larson a drive, missed the net off of the end boards. Found by Papineau, stolen away by Della Rivera, advanced ahead for Lester. Paige Lester has one shorthanded goal, goes to the backhand looking for another, tried to center a feed for Della Rivera. Puck was knocked away, so Kristen Della Rivera will instead reverse it back below the net and go for a line change. Over half the power play gone here for the Engineers to this point. Knocked ahead there by Papineau, stolen away by Hollins, who maintains possession. Brings it in against Sophia Jones, snaps one on goal. Rampado makes the save, the rebound. She thought she had it, she did not. The puck ends up safely behind the net, but a few nervous moments there for the Engineers on defense. Blitz advances ahead for Peterson, but it's stolen away by Gabby Davidson-Adams and whipped all the way in.
Yeah, RPI is having a tough time getting through the neutral zone. Good neutral zone defense here by Harvard on the PK.
Jones to the center line, in on the near side. She sends on goal. Glove save by Polici, who will hang on. So 10 seconds to go on the penalty against Ann Bloomer. Sophia Jones at the end of a relatively long shift will go for a line change. A regular 5-player unit sent on the ice by Brian Vines and company. It is the team's top line, however. Wagner, Kristoff, and Kaiser, Taylor Zahirny, Tegan Dalby. A quick change sends Dalby to the wing position, so she'll either screen or try to create havoc. Neither happens after the face-off win by Harvard. 3 seconds and 2 on the penalty against Ann Bloomer, who you can see in the top right of your screen is headed out of the box and onto the ice. So the power play 0 for 2 for the Engineers to this point. Zahirny's clearing attempt deflected in deep. Wagner causes a turnover. In front was looking for Kaiser, had Kristoff available on the back door rather, neither worked. Now here comes Bloomer, her shot blocked off of Urbanova. Alexander had it, lost it. Della Rivera to the point, sent on goal, deflected away. Rampado made the stop, the deflection coming in front from Arnone, or the shot rather from Arnone on the point. Now here is Lester. She shoots. That one got blocked as well off of Kristoff, deflected in front. Bloomer was able to get a deflection on a puck that was going intentionally wide. Rampado made the stop, long shift for the top line. Kaiser will inch her way to the center line and flip it the rest of the way as we're into the final minute of play here in period 2. Engineers trailing by a goal. They trailed by 2. The puck goes in and out of the catching glove there of Polici, kept in at the point by Price. On goal, through a screen, loose in front off the initial shot. Nobody wearing white was able to find the rebound as they were too crowded in front of Polici in order to do so. Knocked to the ice, Davidson Adams, a shot blockered away by Rampado. That chance coming from Kaylee Crawford, who found the puck in a dangerous area, but a big stop and the puck goes out of play in a stoppage with 33.8 to go.
Well, big stops at both ends. You got Rampado for RPI there that you just saw, and then Polici just prior to that on the shot from the point from Price.
Bodwin and Hollins in on the draw. A scramble for the loose puck. It's stolen away by Papineau. Maddie Papineau through center. Pass a few inches ahead of Sabrina Bodwin's outstretched stick. Bodwin will fight for it. 20 seconds to go. Papineau on goal, blocked. Hit off of Jenna McDonald and skittered its way through the crease into the corner. Papineau on goal. She fired a bouncing one-timer that missed the net on the near side. Knocked back out to center. 5 seconds to go. Here is Dalby from the center line. On goal, missed the net. 2 seconds and 1, and that is how things will come to an end in period number 2. 2 goals unanswered by the Crimson. Paige Lester shorthanded. Gabby Davidson Adams just 2.5 minutes after that made it 3-1. But the goal in response from Ellie Kaiser on her own rebound made it 3-2. And some end-to-end action. And Coach, I have to say, a pretty exciting middle period on both sides. And we'll take a look at how the scoring began in just a few moments. But first, your thoughts.
Well, I thought the RPI responded real well. You know, they had a little bit of a lapse there, and here's one of the goals right here. This is a shorthanded goal. I think that took the wind out of their sails. Then they went on to 4-on-4 hockey, and they gave up another one here on the backhand. Coming off the bench was Davidson Adams. I thought they had a real good response to that.
They did indeed. The goal there from Gabby Davidson Adams, her 3rd of the season, 3rd in her last 4 games. Scored yesterday, and here is the magnificent move from Ellie Kaiser. The first shot, why not clean up your own rebound?
Oh, yeah, I mean, she just had a great play, and I think the defenseman thought that she was going to give it to Wagner, because Wagner's a left shot. She's right behind her, had that gun ready for the shot, but it didn't come. She just decided to take it to the net by herself.
Kaiser's 2nd goal of the season from MJ Alexander, and Mara Wagner at 15-16 made it 3-2, and that's where we stand after 40 minutes of play. Shots on goal in this one, 20-16 in favor of the Engineers, who will look to complete the comeback in period 3, and we'll tell you about all of it in just a few moments. Dan Fridgen and I will step aside. We'll be back with more after this. You're watching RPI Engineers Hockey on ESPN+.
Puck number 16 is the winner. Puck 16 is the winner of the Lions Weight Pump Shuttle Puck competition and tries to go with it. I want to thank Lions Weight Pump for sponsoring the Shuttle Puck competition. Work your way downtown after the game and check out Lions Weight Pump. If you look at your big cruise or all inclusive vacation or lifetime, Yankee Trails can help you out. And specialize in group travel, Yankee Trails is also available for all your group transportation needs. For more information, call 518-286-2400 or visit online at yankeetrails.com.
From hot coffee to soup, hot entrees and cheeseburgers, Stewart's Shop is a great place for a sweat light that will warm you up and satisfy your cravings this time of year. You'll find more choices than most fast food restaurants, like the delicious meatballs, the crispy chicken sandwich, chicken tenders, and the endless combinations of make-your-own hot dogs with free meat sauce. You're in and back on the road in no time with a hearty meal that will keep you going all day. Warm up at Stewart's Shop with great easy food.
Speed, skill, physicality. Home to college hockey's elite teams, coaches, and student athletes. ECAC Hockey, 12 programs competing at the highest level. A league where champions award and world-class professionals are trained. History is punched and commitment to
To go here in regulation at the Houston Fieldhouse on the campus of RPI. 2 periods down and 1 to go. We welcome you back here to the RPI Engineers on ESPN Plus alongside the coach Dan Fridgen. Dan Ball with you here. We're ready to go for period number 3, the final 20 minutes of regulation. An exciting first 40 minutes. The game was tied at 1 goal apiece. After 20 minutes of play, 2 unanswered goals by the Crimson, answered by 1 from the Engineers, and we have a 3-2 game heading into period number 3. And coach, back and forth, end to end, good responses from both sides. We've seen a lot in this game. Where do you forecast period 3 going on both sides?
Well, I think RPI has to get after it right off the bat. They have to get some forecheck going, get some shots on goal, hopefully capitalize, but they've got to start for the full 20 minutes here and put the pressure on Harvard being down by 1.
Paige Lester scored her second goal of the season, shorthanded at 12:14 to make it 2-1 Harvard. They answered just about 2.5 minutes later. Gabby Davidson Adams scoring goal number 3. It was 3-1 at that point, but then just 36 seconds later, Ellie Kaiser scored on a wonderful individual effort. MJ Alexander, Mara Wagner getting the assists. Kaiser took the shot. Save was made, found her own rebound, and put it behind Alex Polici. That made it 3-2. That's where we stand. Urbanova goal, save made. Rebound is still loose in front, and Kaiser poked it free, but was unable to find it. That was Nina Kristoff in front creating havoc. She nearly found the puck once more. Dalby kept it in at the line. No, she did not. So the Engineers will head back into the neutral zone and touch up just 30 seconds into period number 3, led ahead by Lester. Rest of her team is changing, so she'll backhand it corner to corner and finish the rest of it.
Boy, Kaiser could have had herself another one there. She just softened up on the hands a little bit.
Hollins was looking to center a feed. Didn't connect with Kaylee Crawford on that one. Shot from the point gets deflected and goes wide. Kept in at the line there by McDonald. Sent below the goal. Hollins will keep it on moving. Kept in at the point, but a pass coming from Biotti over to McDonald didn't connect. At the end of the shift, Ellie Kaiser will send it in deep. All 3 members of the top line for Brian Vines' group will complete their line change. Hollins nearly has it intercepted. Larson's able to find the loose puck, but it's stolen away by Crawford near side. Shot on goal from a sharp angle, turned aside by Rampato, and that was Shannon Hollins who went careening into the end boards after the save. And when all is said and done, a face-off will be to the left of the Engineers netminder.
Price got away with one there. Take a look at it. There's a shot, freeze it, there's a chop, and into the board. So the referee was on the other side of the net and really didn't see that chop.
A little bit different than the this is where you stop metaphor or analogy that you used last period when Mara Wagner got stopped dead right along that same post. This was more of a this is where you slide. Here comes Peterson in on the far side, whipped on goal, glove save by Polici, rebound loose for Phillip who tried to wrap it. She couldn't get all the way to the post. There were a couple of crimson sweaters that were sitting between her and that near side post. Buckvik will whip it in deep. Peterson keeps it going along to the point, kept in by Zahirny. Peterson again will backhand it in deep as RPI is looking to make a line change. Here is Blitz.
I was going to say she ran over her line mate Peterson as well, trying to wrap that puck around.
Looks like both aren't any worse for wear, but Peterson will have a seat on the bench after the line change. Pass from Alexander, a little too hot to handle for Sabrina Bodwin. This one will go for icing against the Engineers.
Those are those neutral zone regroups where you've got to really make that one pass, put it on the tape, and then attack the zone. RPI has struggled in that regard, putting those passes. They're just not connecting. with the forwards.
Face-off will be to the left of Amanda Rampado, who is 13 of 16, or was through 2 periods of play. Here is Ann Bloomer off the draw. Her shot missed the net wide. To the point, kept in at the line by Arnone. Alexander off the near side boards. Papineau slows it down. Pass ahead is picked off by Bloomer, chopped along by Alexander, but Bloomer gets around her. Centering feed was looking for Lester, didn't connect. Zahirny will get it started into the near corner, high off the glass and out to center. Probably the responsible play given who was marking her for Harvard. Wagner at the line is able to deflect the puck away. Now it finds its way over to Urbanova as the Engineers were in the midst of a change. The puck ends up taking a deflection in deep. McDonald will try to take it away from a couple oncoming Engineers. Now it's Della Rovere. In her own end, she backhands it along for Davidson Adams, but the pass didn't connect. Urbanova will find Nina Kristoff, and the Engineers will go back the other way. Engineers going from right to left across your screen here in period 3, wearing their white home jerseys accented in black and red. Kristoff nearly picked that one off. The Harvard Crimson in the crimson. That one's pretty easy to pick out. Much like the Big Green were in the Big Green yesterday. They're going from left to right. On the near side, battle ensues. Both teams looking for possession here. Dalby steps in and chips it through the crease and into the far corner. Keeping the zone for the Engineers, however, as it's taken away by Kristoff. Far corner, she's met and driven into the boards there by Holland. Hard work, 2 aside, nobody in possession yet, but eventually it's stolen away, sprayed along the end boards. Larson steps in from the point, knocks it ahead for Phillip. Nia Phillip will backhand it in deep, so McDonald will try it the other way. Pressure from the Engineers, nearly causing a turnover, but it was Gabby Davidson Adams who pinned it along the boards and stopped what would have at least created some offense for RPI. Squirts back to the point. Price on goal. Glove save Polici, knocks it behind the net. Kasika tries to get around 2 white sweaters. She does so successfully. Skates it to the center line, and she'll whip it in deep on Rampado, who knocks it to the corner, and she and her line mates will go for a change. Peterson ahead for Bodwin, who evades a poke check and was trying to evade a hold, but she ends up drawing a penalty in the process as the whistle will blow after the puck is touched in front of the Crimson bench. Sophie Ensley will be the guilty party in this one, and just under 5 minutes into period 3, the Engineers will go to the power play for the 3rd time.
Perfect time for RPI to get something going here offensively on the power play here. They've got to outwork the PK. Here's another look at that penalty for hooking. And hopefully they can start this off right with a win on the faceoff.
It's the freshman Sophie Ensley out of Sudbury, Massachusetts, who will sit for 2. Power play on the ice for the 3rd time. They're 0 for 2. Shot by Urbanova from the point. Had some heat and height on it, but it was gloved down by Polici.
15 of Harvard, Ensley on a hook. At 4:56.
I like this look on the power play. However, I would be putting either 10 or 14 in that spot where Wagner is, because that way it's a right shot. And you can play catch and take a one-timer there from the flank.
Face-off controlled by the Crimson, bumped around the headboards. Lester will try to poke it around Urbanova and do so successfully. Kristoff, feeling the pressure, is able to find Wagner on the far side. Pass ahead, knocked along there by Bodwin, who will slow it down a bit. Feeling the pressure, hitting the brakes and knocking it back for Kristoff. The two run into one another. The puck ends up getting free for Arnone, who will send it to the line, and it snuck past Bodwin. So the Engineers will switch the ice and try the entry from the near side this time. Now it's Urbanova. Skates it low. Her pass gets deflected up in the air. Kaiser is able to find it all the way back to the point. Wagner on goal, missed the net. Viewfinder was a little off on that one. Now 2 aside, they'll battle, but it's picked up by Wagner once more. Urbanova near side, pass a little too strong for her. And Hollins is able to backhand it the length of the rink, and the Engineers will go for a change just over halfway through this power play. Larson will get it started, waited to bait Ann Bloomer to head behind the net, which gives her a little bit more room to skate. Larson near side. Off the end boards for Peterson. Whipped back to the point. Here is Jones. She'll walk the line and find Larson in the middle. Larson for Papineau. Now Larson again. Papineau near side. Larson, one-timer, deflected. It ended up near the stick of Maddie Peterson, who was unable to find it. 20 seconds to go on the penalty. Near side Papineau on goal. Save Polici, rebound loose in front. Battling for it there was Blitz. Hollins goes to the backhand. She'll pin it along the boards and rag the rest of the power play, but it's taken out of her skates before then. Here's Jones. Now it's Larson. She sends on goal. That's blocked. Out to the neutral zone. Jones will have to regroup. The power play will come to an end as Jones will flip it in deep. Peterson sends a shove at Ann Bloomer's direction and was responded to in kind as Bloomer was trying to make her way from in front of the bench all the way to her bench. Here is Phillips, sent along for McCutcheon. Sends it into the wickets of McDonald. Flipped on goal by Phillip through the legs. The puck is still loose behind the net. Seemed like a relatively harmless play, but Jenna McDonald could not find that puck. Kept it at the line by Zahirny, but that pass is knocked down. Now here comes Della Rivera through center. On the far side, look to backhand a pass too far ahead for Ensley. Paige Lester picks it up on the near side. Cross point on goal, deflected, kicked away by Rampado. Rebound was picked up by Buckvik. She makes a move at the defensive blue line to the center line and the rest of the way in. Eleanor Winges was the defender who took the shot from the point. Haven't heard too much from her. She did get the shot away, was looking for a rebound. Now here comes Wagner. Centering feed for Kaiser to the backhand, and she couldn't find it on the near side post. Good chance there from Wagner to Kaiser in front.
She had the goaltender beat on that one. It just rolled off the backhand of her stick.
Backhanded in, but Davidson Adams was behind the center line. This one will go for icing against the Crimson, who will have to send their same 5 players. Katie Stone is upset about something, but a really great chance there again, Coach. Wagner was able to flutter a pass in front, and Kaiser just couldn't get that puck to sit for her.
Yeah, great setup there by Wagner. I like this line a lot. The only thing they have to do is, sharpen up on their defensive play. They've been scored on a couple of times tonight, but they've also scored one of them.
Face-off play ends up with Hannah Price in possession, but the puck was too far ahead of her, so she had to slow it down. Taken ahead by Davidson Adams to the center line, off of the boards and in deep. Larson will be the first one to get it. Reversing for her partner, and RPI will take it back the other way. Asia Taylor-Walters, a space pass. Papineau remained onside. Centering pass, now it's Taylor-Walters, and she put it past the near side post. She gets it again, however, behind the net. Leaving for Papineau, but Ensley's able to force a turnover. Up ahead, knocked down by Price. The pass was too far ahead of Gabby Davidson Adams. Buckvik will deflect it. No, she will not. This one will go for icing as nobody in front of the RPI bench was able to get a deflection. So with 10:57 to go in period 3, the faceoff will come back into the defensive end.
They made a similar play like that yesterday where they Price tried to get it to, I think it was Peterson. It was posted up on the wall there and just missed her and went down the ice for icing.
A tie-up off the draw between Bodwin and Ensley, the 2 first-year players. Controlled in the neutral zone by McDonald. She and Mia Biotti paired together. Biotti's pass for Ensley was knocked down. Peterson bumps it free, but saying no more of that is Courtney Hyland, who whips it into the near corner. Here is Chorsky. Met by Price. The puck is pinned along the end boards right in front of the ECAC hockey logo behind the net. Chorsky once more, bodied by Bodwin. Hyland fighting for it. She's on her backhand in the near corner. Reversed along, nobody there. Asia Taylor-Walters will go against Biotti to try to win the race. Now 2 aside, they'll battle. Harvard in no real rush to try to pull the puck free. The more time they kill, the better. This one's sent along the near side boards by Price, too far ahead of Maddie Peterson. So once again, the Price to Peterson connection unsuccessful and an icing against RPI.
Yeah, and that's a long time they've been out on that ice, so I'm sure they'll be wanting to get a change, and that's going to be a timeout here by Coach Vines, recognizing that they've been out there a long time.
Brian Vines will call the timeout. 10:05 to go Third period here in Troy. That gives us a chance to take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard here among the ECAC hockey women's games. 5 games going on right now in the conference. Cornell all over Clarkson 7-1. Just underway at Lina Rink in the third period. So number 9 Cornell looking to blow out number 10 Clarkson in the process. Elsewhere, Dartmouth leads 4-1 over Union right down the street at the Achilles Center midway through the third. Yale a 1-0 lead over Princeton after knocking off number 4 Quinnipiac yesterday. They lead 1-0 midway through the third. Meanwhile, Quinnipiac is up 4-1 on Brown at the Meehan Auditorium in Rhode Island. 6 minutes to go, third period in that one. Very exciting action in ECAC hockey play. This RPI women's team will be off for 10 days following this one. Their next game on Tuesday, November 15th. That is going to be at the Achilles Center against Union. That is going to be the last game that they play in ECAC hockey play until the first weekend of December. They'll play against Post on Saturday the 19th here at the Houston Fieldhouse before 2 games on the road at Stonehill. And then they're back in the first weekend of December, returning to ECAC hockey play. Out of the timeout, the faceoff to the right of Amanda Rampado was controlled by Wagner and the Engineers, but it's stolen on the near side. Here is Lester, sends back to the point, nearly turned over, but Willoughby poked it free. Arbenova lost it at the line. Her and Ann Bloomer went spilling to the ice after trying to fight for that loose puck. Lester backhands it along. Holland will go one-on-one against Arbenova, but the latter was able to beat the former to the puck, and now here comes Kaiser. On the near side, Ellie Kaiser into the corner behind the net. Both defenders right on top of her. She'll switch places with Larson, who will activate from the point. Kristoff was unable to corral the loose puck. Led ahead by Davidson Adams. Looking for a pass, too far ahead. She had Crawford, Kaylee Crawford for the moment, but the pass could not connect. Skidded out of harm's way there by Wagner. To the center line, Kaiser will send it in on Polici, who will knock it to the side. Engineers will complete a line change as Kristoff might have had a chance to get to that puck, but she was already committed to heading to the bench, and in the process, Harvard will send the puck in deep. Phillip bumps it back for Buckvik, who is able to make a move around Ensley. Here's Buckvik on goal, knocked away by Polici. Good quick exit of the defensive zone, however, for the Engineers. Peterson's pass didn't connect with Phillip, who tries to find it in post, but she's unable to do so. Hannah Chorsky will send it back behind, and MJ Alexander will give chase. Alexander's pass goes through Maddie Peterson. It will flutter its way toward the end line, and Nia Phillip will win the race before any icing could be called or waved off. Near side, it's Chorsky. Led ahead by the first-year Ensley, who will flip it back behind the net. Zahirny will try to find it, but instead it's picked up. Highland flips it down deep. Dalby pops it high in the air out to center, gloved down by Lester, but she was unable to field the fly ball properly, and now the puck is in her own end. Whipped out to center, kicked down there by Zahirny, who will send it in deep. Both teams will go with the chip and chase mentality if able to do so. Top line on the ice for Harvard, led ahead by Bloomer. On the far side, poked away by Arbenova, and Papineau will take it the other way. Here comes Papineau, led ahead for Blitz. Blitz on goal, glove save Polici, and she will hang on. 7:31 to go, third period here in Troy. The Engineers trailing the Crimson of Harvard by a goal. An exciting finish on the way, and we'll tell you about it when we return. You're watching RPI Engineers Hockey on ESPN+.
For the love of the game, the team, or for two, Recovery Sports Grill. At Recovery Sports Grill, you'll always have courtside seats to exciting live sports coverage. And for outstanding loyalty perks, join our Hall of Fame, Recovery Sports Grill, serving up smiles every season.
Hi, I'm Andy James at Rensselaer Honda, and this is my buddy Bo. Looking to sell your car or truck? We want to buy it. Are you looking for a great used car? We have a huge selection. That's why Rensselaer Honda has been your Honda dealer for 44 years.
7:31 to go, third period here in Troy. 3-2 Harvard over RPI as we head towards regulation's final moments. Alongside Dan Fridgen, I'm Dan Ball. Thanks so much for being with us here on this Saturday in the Capital Region as the Engineers wrap up their two-game weekend set against two Ivy League opponents. Dartmouth yesterday, Harvard today. Engineers control off the draw. Larson whipped it in front. Kaiser had her stick tied up by Bloomer. However, Kaiser will remain on the forecheck and steal the puck away. Here's Ellie Kaiser. Fighting for the puck below the goal. It's popped over the stick of Kristoff, led ahead by Bloomer. Bloomer for Della Rovera and back on the far side towards the net, knocked away by Rimpado. Della Rovera fights for it, trying to stick it away from Larson. She does so successfully, nearly got up in on goal. Eventually, Amanda Rimpado puts a stop to all of this. She finds the loose puck, says no more, and with 7 minutes to go, the faceoff will be
rebound or a tip.
It's a matter of a couple of feet, but again, you never know what that puck could hit on its way to the net, and most goaltenders won't be able to react at that quick of a reaction time. Sent from the point after the face-off win by the Crimson. That one gets blocked to the corner. Hollins reverses. Davidson Adams chopped to the ice. All the arms of the respective officials will remain by their side, so the Engineers possibly get away with one. Urbanova pops it to the point, kept in, and backhanded in deep there by Arnone. And we'll have a stoppage.
Hand pass?
Hand pass. I missed the signal, I must say. I heard a whistle and I looked, and whatever the call was, it was done. But it ends up benefiting RPI as the faceoff will come back to the neutral zone. They'll get a full line change in the process.
I missed the signal too. I just saw the girl hand pass it to her teammate.
Oh, you saw the action itself. Oh,
I
that's
did,
even
yeah.
better. Who needs the call? Not supposed to do that, and Coach Dan Fridgen caught it.
I could have been wrong.
I would say you probably ended up being right. Either way, not important. Let ahead, pass too far ahead for Ensley. It was knocked away on a nice defensive play by Alexander. Zahirny is able to avoid a stick check and skate it through center. Taylor Zahirny, another nice move, followed by another, opening up some space and shooting. Save made there by Polici, but from the defensive end into the offensive end and shooting there was Taylor Zahirny, and she gets her team in offensive zone faceoff.
Yeah, I like the idea of it, but she's got to have some teammates going to the net. I mean, it's almost like those that are on the ice, look, they're just watching her instead of, activating and being available or going to the net, trying to create something.
There was a good probably 4 Mississippi, I would say, between when Zahirny skated it over the line, because obviously you don't want to go off sides, but there was enough time to at least send somebody sprinting their way to the net. After all, however, Arnaud shoots. She missed the near post wide. Popped ahead by Kristoff. Kaiser bumps it out to center. Slowed down by Willoughby. Now Bloomer. And Willoughby once more. Her pass finds Bloomer, 1v3, shot on goal, glove saved by Rimpado. She will hang on with 5:22 to go in period 3. RPI trailing by a goal. They had goals today from Sabrina Bodwin, her first, Ellie Kaiser, her second. Harvard in the lead with goals from Ann Bloomer, Paige Lester, and Gabby Davidson Adams. The last of which proving to be the go-ahead goal and possible game winner if Harvard is able to hang on, but enough runway for that to change, that is for sure, with still 5 minutes to go.
Well, both Bloomer and Davidson Adams had goals in yesterday's tie with Union College.
That is where the offense is coming from. It's interesting to look at the construction of this roster in line chart. Only 11 forwards are dressed by Katie Stone in this one. There's only 23 players on the roster, so, and actually I believe now it's down to 22. There was a change in the roster from when I started my prep to when I finished it. So just 2 scratches on this roster, just 2 goalies as well. So a thin group, but they're able to score in bunches on their top line and really their top 6 forwards. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That seems to be the strategy going into this year. And again, with all the turnover on the roster, you can understand why maybe the group is a little bit thin this year. Arnone will head back and grab it in the far corner. Pass ahead for Chorsky. She skates over the line. Had the puck knocked away. Larson rings it around the boards, pokes to the line, but not out there by Blitz. She'll give it a second go. Now she's down to the ice. 2 players on either side trying to find possession. Eventually, Taylor Larson, who had stepped in from her post, is able to pull it away. Papineau is able to avoid a couple of stick checks. Here is Blitz. Whips it on goal. Blockered away by Polici. Penalty coming up. It's going to be against the Crimson as Blitz, after shooting, was taken down. An important power play, to say the least, with 3:42 to go in period 3 and RPI trailing by 1, Coach.
Yes, that's going to be a tripping call on Emsley. And if you're Brian Vines, do you pull the goaltender for a 6-on-4 at least halfway through this power play?
It is an interesting proposition. Well, I'll send it right back to you. You always say it's more about feel of the game versus time of the game.
Yep.
You have the feel of the game. What do you think?
Well, that's why I said about a minute in here, get a feel. Hopefully, you know, they can get some pressure going here offensively with the power play.
We'll see if they're able to do so. Lester is met by Wagner in the near corner. She's going to try to rag as much time off the clock as possible. Knocked free there by Kristoff. She's on the far side wall. Della Rivera is able to find it. Here comes Kristen Della Rivera. Has a step around Urbanova, but she was knocked off the puck. So Kaiser will take it behind her own net. Tried to reverse it for Urbanova. Second time was the charm. Power play to this point in the afternoon is 0 for 3 for the Engineers. 1 goal in 41 attempts this year for Brian Vines' power play group. They would love to make that a crooked number to this point, but a turnover and a pass to the middle is deflected the rest of the way by Paige Lester, and both units will go for a change.
RPI's got to get something going here, get through the neutral zone. Harvard's doing a good job just bottling things up and forcing them back into their own end.
Papineau will skate away from Bloomer and make a move at the neutral zone, and she's taken down. And now the Engineers will skate 5-on-3 for the next 59 seconds. Maddie Papineau using her speed, and Shannon Hollins will sit for 2 for a trip. And now it's 5-on-3 and, well, maybe more.
Oh, boy. I think I would go for the 6-on-3.
I think I would agree, not that either of our opinions matters overly. Rampato is at the top of her crease, so watch for a face-off win by Wagner and then a goalie pull by Brian Vines. Part 1 is established. Rampato will remain in her net for the time being. Urbanova for Kristoff. 5-on-3 power play for the Engineers looking to tie it. Kristoff scores! A one-time rocket from Nina Kristoff. Her first career goal has tied the game at 3.
She has got a rocket. I was watching her in the pregame warm-up, and both her and Urbanova were passing just like that, and she was teeing it up, and she's got a great shot. She's got a great release, snapping the puck off, and she can one-time that puck, as you can see there. So, man, they've still got the person advantage.
I always go with player. I appreciate the effort either way. Oh, man, that made me laugh. Anyways, game tied at 3. Now 2.5 minutes to go. Still 1:45 remaining on the second power play. So now 1 for 4 are the Engineers on their power play so far. Whipped along the glass, kept in. First unit still on the ice here for Brian Vines. In a game that is now tied at 3, sent along the boards and the rest of the way in. Urbanova will give chase with Paige Lester right on her back. Urbanova rings it around the board. She knew that she had a couple of reinforcements coming. Second unit on the ice here with 1 minute and 15 seconds to go. Christoph, the freshman out of Hammelburg, Germany, with her first career goal. Blitz is taken to the ice. McDonald will send it off the near side glass. Larson bunts it ahead, but it's picked up by Davidson Adams, who will backhand it into the corner. Sophia Jones will lead it ahead through the neutral zone. Jones to the line, fakes a backhand, now takes it into the corner. Bloomer whiffed on her clearing attempt, kicks it to the line, kept in, sent on goal. That missed the net. Rather towards the goal. Larson and Papineau play catch. Here is Maddie Papineau walking off the wall, looking for a deflection in front. A meaningful pass or low shot, however you want to characterize it. Papineau up top. Larson whiffed on a one-timer, and it's cleared the length by Gabby Davidson-Adams. So that same one-time look, the second unit was looking for the same thing.
Well, I don't blame him. You've got Blitz over there, right shot. She can really hammer that puck.
Here comes Kaiser, who's taken down. This time it will not be called. Instead, the power play will come to an end. Zahirny does a nice job, however, of defending the line with a lot of pressure. Kaiser was hanging below the defense. Drops it back for Christoph. Low for Kaiser. 30 seconds to go in regulation in a game that's tied at 3. Wagner, a backhander in front, was looking for Nina Christoph. The puck deflected off the side of the goal before it got to her. Changed the angle enough. Knocked away from Lester on a good defensive play. Led ahead on a partial 3-on-2. Here comes Christoph, and on the near side, shoots! She put it over the top of the net. Zahirny steps in from the point. She has it behind the net, does Taylor Zahirny. On the near side, will backhand it low. 5 seconds to go. Engineers looking for a shot. Christoph in the corner, 3 seconds and 2, centered, and Wagner's shot gets blocked. And we will play 5 minutes of 3-on-3 overtime here in Troy. An exciting game, to say the least. And after 60 minutes of play, Coach, we are tied at 3 goals apiece, and the response from the Engineers on offense today has been the story throughout.
Yes, no question. They've responded each time they've been down. Here's another look at that goal. I mean, she hammered that top shelf. The goaltender had no chance on it. She was already down. Polici was already down in her butterfly. And just a well-executed play.
How about the form, too? The pass from Urbanova was a little bit towards her front foot. You can watch it right here. So she goes down to the one knee, moves her body a little bit to get that one-timer away. I mean, that's when you're teaching how to take a one-timer. That's how you take a one-timer.
Yes, and that's right in her wheelhouse. You want to put it off the front foot so that they can step into it.
Right.
You know, and taking a one-timer, if it is off the back foot or if it's not in the wheelhouse, you got to be able to adjust your body around the puck to still get that one-timer off. Something that is a skill that you have to work on.
Nina Christoph's first career goal coming on the power play. Magdalena Urbanova, Ellie Kaiser, the assists. Time of that goal, 17:27. So that made them 1 for 4 on the power play. The second power play came to an end. So the Engineers are now 1 for 5 on their person advantage, which is going to make me laugh for the rest of the day. Harvard ends up, they did not have a power play in that third period, so they are 0 for 2. The score is 3-3. The shots on goal, 32-24 in favor of the Engineers through 60 minutes of play. Shots on goal were 12-7 in that final period. So we are about set to go for a 5-minute 3-on-3 overtime period. With the Engineers, they've now secured at least their first points of the 2022-23 ECAC hockey campaign. And now the question is, can they secure the victory? Face-off at center. Wagner, Kaiser, Larson, Lester, Della Rovere, and Kyra Willoughby, the 3 on the ice for Katie Stone's group. Puck is down at center. Wagner had control for the moment. It's knocked to the near boards by Kaiser. These two teams played overtime in their first meeting last year. It was at Harvard, a game that was won by the Crimson 4-3. Harvard would end up sweeping the season series. They won in regulation here in Troy. Della Rovere below the goal. Switches places with Lester. Trying to shake Wagner. Pass to the middle was stolen away. Ahead for Ellie Kaiser. Kaiser on the far side. A backhand feed. Wagner shoots. Save by Polici. And she will hang on. 43 seconds gone by in the overtime period, and a chance for the Engineers to end it.
Well, I think Kaiser was a little bit out of gas here. She went to her the pass, and boy, that's right in the breadbasket.
Line change for the Engineers. Bodwin and Papineau with Erbeneva. Meanwhile, Bloomer, Biotti, and Davidson Adams, the trio for the Crimson. Erbeneva pass skips off the boards. Bodwin will pick it up. Sabrina Bodwin, the freshman, getting a good look here, centering the second 3-on-3 unit after scoring the game's opening goal, but the Engineers' opening goal, but a turnover and now a 2-on-1. Led ahead by Bloomer with Davidson Adams, blocked away by Erbeneva on a nice play. She later stick to the ice to block that passing lane as Ann Bloomer took it wide. Now Bloomer has it again below the goal. Watch a player coming late. Bloomer instead on the near side, out to Biotti. Biotti for Bloomer once more. The pass was a bit behind her. Bloomer will hit the brakes and circle at the top of the zone. Carried in, a toe drag by Della Rovere, but she had the puck knocked away. Bloomer once more. She shoots over the top of the net. Off the end glass, trying to win the race there is Papineau. She does successfully and shakes a Harvard player in the process. That was Kyra Willoughby who ended up along the boards. Speaking of along the boards, that's where the puck is. Papineau will send it in deep. The Engineers will go for a complete line change.
Boy, Erbeneva's living on the edge there. She was the last one defensively, and she just about turned that over.
Here's Paige Lester on the near side. Dalby, good positioning on her. Two defenders out right now for Brian Vines. It's Dalby and Zahirny. Maddie Peterson, the lone forward. So going with the defense first setup for the Engineers, at least until that top line is available. Below the net, here is Hollins, marked by Zahirny. Zahirny knocks her down and is able to cause a turnover. Dalby A-frames against the wall. Bloomer was trying to take it away from her, who sat on the bench for approximately 30 seconds and was out there. Zahirny whiffed on a pass. Peterson will stop to greet it. Peterson took the puck over the blue line, so her pass to Zahirny was done so offside. 2:16 to go here in overtime. 3-3 Engineers and the Crimson. Face off in the neutral zone after the offside call. Della Rovere and Bloomer with Willoughby. The top unit again of Wagner, Kaiser, and Larson, and now it's Taylor Larson who winds it up through center. Larson on the near side, shoots from a bad angle, saved by Polici. Willoughby pops the rebound ahead. It's a partial 2-on-1 with Larson as the trailer, led ahead by Della Rovere, snapped on goal, kicked away by Rimpato, up and out of play, deflected off of the stick of the Engineers netminder. So the face-off will remain in the defensive end for the Engineers with under 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, you just got to make sure when you're playing player on player, you got to make sure that that player for Harvard doesn't beat you up the ice. Especially after an offensive opportunity.
Papineau wins the face-off and picks up her own face-off victory. Long pass ahead for Nina Kristoff. Kristoff will go one-on-one against Della Rovere. Kristoff to her backhand on goal, save, rebound loose. She's hauled down. Penalty coming up against the Crimson. Kristoff for Papineau. The puck wouldn't sit for her. Heading to the benches, Rimpato. The Engineers are going to play 4-on-3 until the whistle, unless they're able to score here. Here is Kristoff. Top of the offensive end. Larson looked for the shot, decided against it. Wagner on goal, save, rebound loose in front. Knocked back behind the cage. Crimson still trying to touch up. Eventually it's played by Davidson Adams, but a penalty called against the Crimson with 1:22 to go, and Nina Kristoff is the one who drew it.
Yeah, she was going to her backhand and looked like they got the stick on her and took her down. I don't know if that's going to be a trip or a hook. Unfortunately, Coach Vines had taken her timeout, so Katie looks like she's got a question, which is good because it'll buy some time for RPI. I'd be switching that back up.
It's going to be Della Rovere for a trip at 3 minutes 38 seconds. And Coach, I tell you what, Kristen Della Rovere is the top face-off taker on this Harvard team. She is 21 of 44 so far. And Harvard will take their time out here, getting ready to defend a 4-on-3 penalty kill. End-to-end action in overtime. And I tell you what, Harvard probably had the lion's share of the good chances, but one quick outlet pass, Nina Kristoff was sitting along that defensive blue line ready to turn it into offense, and you're able to draw a penalty. That's happened a couple times in this one. The Engineers have forced the Crimson into some uncomfortable places defensively.
No question. I think this third period is something that we haven't seen from this RPI team, and that they're moving their feet and they're drawing penalties. I mean, when you move your feet and you take that puck to the net, it forces the defense to do something against you. And in the cases that are happening, it's either a trip or a hook or something's, given for Harvard and ended up in the penalty box.
The Harvard Crimson opened the scoring in the first period on a deflection goal by Ann Bloomer. Sabrina Bodwin would tie it about 3 minutes and change later, her first career goal. Paige Lester, Gabby Davidson-Adams Paige Lester scored shorthanded. Gabby Davidson-Adams was 5-on-5. Just keep that fact in mind, though, that the Harvard Crimson have a shorthanded goal today. They have a shorthanded goal yesterday, and you know that they're going to be pressuring the point for sure. But 2 straight goals by the Engineers, one in the second from Ellie Kaiser, one in the third on the 5-on-3 power play from Nina Kristoff. That is the scoring in an exciting 3-3 game that has just 1 minute and 22 seconds remaining here in overtime. So the Engineers will play the rest of this overtime on the 4-on-3 advantage, however long that goes. Urbanova, Kaiser, back up top. Urbanova once more. Nina Kristoff calling for it, fakes the shot. She'll take it to the top of the circle. Urbanova again. Kaiser, backdoor, was looking for Kristoff, who's able to steal the puck away and maintain possession. Urbanova steps in, goes for Kristoff. Urbanova passes too far ahead to get a shot away. She shoots now, and a save by Polici with Wagner screening in front. Hollins escorted Wagner out of the net's way and then stood over her very menacingly so. Now 54 seconds to go.
I'm surprised she didn't get a call for cross-checking there, because it was pretty blatant. She's not doing anything. Watch, right there. That's interesting. But then again, I mean, you got to call a penalty, although the last 3 have been against Harvard.
This is true, and we're already now 4-on-3, so a 5-on-3 in overtime is a big call to say the least. Kaiser rang it off the crossbar. She beat Polici clean, but wasn't able to beat the red. Now here's Urbanova shooting, blocker save. Knocked away from Kaiser. Bloomer fighting for the loose puck, and it is cleared to the line and out. Urbanova knocked it down, but she was unable to keep the line. The Engineers will regroup with under 30 seconds to go. Urbanova up top. Goes for Kristoff. 20 seconds to go. Engineers are looking for a shot here on the 4-on-3. Kristoff low. Wagner up top. Urbanova, puck jumped over her stick. 12 seconds in overtime. Pass ahead of Wagner, fighting for it. Biatti cleared off the glass, kept in by Kristoff. 6 seconds to go. Bloomer sends to the line, but not out. Kristoff keeps it in. 3 seconds and 2. Up top, Wagner, and a save with 0.1 seconds on the clock here at the Houston Fieldhouse. It took till nearly the end to get a shot away, but Polici makes the save when it counts.
Well, unfortunately, a little snake bitten there. They had some real good opportunities, but just haven't been able to capitalize, and the best opportunity came off the crossbar.
Puck is down, and play will end here in overtime. And that is how things will come to a close here at the Houston Fieldhouse. An exhilarating game, to say the least, between the Engineers of RPI and the Crimson of Harvard. The final minute and 22 seconds of overtime on the power play for RPI. They are unable to score on the player advantage, but escape with a 3-3 tie against the Crimson of Harvard. And Coach, this one was exciting from beginning to end.
No question. I liked some of the changes that Coach Vines made, especially that line, with Kaiser and Kristoff played very, very well. And Wagner, for a freshman, Kristoff really stepped up today.
She is going to be a good player for this program for a while, it appears. Nina Christoph spent time with the German national team, a native of Hammelburg, Germany. So she is going to be a player to watch on that top line for sure. And when all is said and done, the Engineers pick up a tie after the loss against Dartmouth. A good way to respond, especially for the offense. And even though you have a tie on the scoreboard, the 3 goals and responding from down a goal and then down 2 goals is certainly something positive to watch moving forward. Any final thoughts before we wrap up here from 2 games in as many days at the Houston Fieldhouse?
You know what? I like the character that they showed coming back, and you know, especially like I said in the third period, I thought RPI did a great job moving their feet, picked up some confidence, and forced Harvard into a number of penalties.
Well, this RPI team will be off for the next 10 days. They will be back on the ice on Tuesday, the 15th of November, on the road at the Achilles Center to take on Union. They're then back at home that following Saturday to battle against Post. Meanwhile, Dan Fridgen and I will be back on the air next Friday and Saturday night at 7 o'clock as the RPI men's program will be here at the Houston Fieldhouse to take on who else but Harvard and Dartmouth respectively. Well, that's going to do it here from the Houston Fieldhouse. The final score for the final time, it was Engineers 3 and Crimson 3. For everybody working hard behind the scenes and for my partner Dan Fridgen, Dan Ball saying good afternoon from the Houston Fieldhouse. You've been watching RPI Engineers hockey on ESPN+.